More than a gift from lightning, our ancestors watched the sun rise and fall and understood at some animal level that something was happening, that they were being moved by something invisible, something they could not hold, could not stop, could not ever fully understand. The ancient Egyptians built their entire civilization around it. The Mayans calculated it to a precision that still astonishes modern astronomers. The Greeks gave it a god, Kronos, a titan who devoured his own children, because time, they understood, consumes everything it creates. Aristotle asked whether time could exist without a mind to perceive it. If no one were here to notice the sun moving, would time still pass? He did not have an answer. Neither, in the truest sense, do we. Augustine of Hippo, one of the most brilliant minds the ancient world produced, wrote in his Confessions, "What then is time? If no one asks me, I know what it is. If I wish to explain it to him who asks, I do not know." 1600 years later, we have quantum mechanics, general relativity, particle accelerators that can smash protons together at nearly the speed of light, and we are still standing in Augustine's shadow, asking the same question he asked in the dark. This is not a failure of science. This is a testament to the depth of the question. Because time is not just a philosophical curiosity, it is the architecture of everything you have ever experienced. Every memory you carry, every plan you make, every person you have loved and lost, all of it organized by this one mysterious dimension we call time. And the most unsettling discovery of the last 100 years is this: the universe may not share our obsession with. Here is what almost everyone believes about time. They believe it flows like a river, steadily, constantly, in one direction from past to future. They believe the present moment is special, that now is different from then, that the past is gone and the future has not yet arrived. They believe time is the same for everyone, that if you and I both look at a clock, we are both living in the same moment, breathing the same now. This feels so obvious that questioning it seems almost absurd. When you wake up in the morning, yesterday is over, done, sealed. When you go to sleep tonight, tomorrow has not happened. The present, this instant, is the only real thing. The past is memory, the future is imagination. Only now. You feel this every single day, and you are wrong about almost all of it. Let's start with something simple. A cup of coffee on your kitchen table. You watch the steam rise from it. You absolutely know that the coffee is getting colder, that time is passing, that what was hot is becoming cool, and that process is irreversible. You cannot uncool the coffee. You cannot make the steam go back into the liquid. Time has a direction, and that direction is forward. But here is what physics actually tells you. The individual molecules in that coffee have no preference. At the quantum level, the laws of physics are almost entirely time symmetric. They work equally well forwards and backwards. The reason your coffee cools, the reason time seems to have a direction, is a statistical phenomenon. It is overwhelmingly more likely for heat to spread out than to concentrate, but overwhelmingly more likely is not the same as physically required. The arrow of time you feel so deeply may be nothing more than a statistical preference, a cosmic habit, not a law, a tendency. Now let's go deeper. Einstein showed us something that should have shattered our intuition about time entirely, but somehow, a century later, most people have still not absorbed it. He showed us that time does not pass at the same rate for everyone. If you stand still and I run past you, your clock and my clock tick at different rates. Not because our clocks are broken, because time itself is elastic. It stretches and compresses depending on how fast you move and how strong the gravitational field around you. The GPS satellites orbiting Earth right now experience time differently than you do. If engineers did not correct for this, if they pretended time was the same up there as it is down here, your GPS would be off by kilometers within a day. This is not theoretical, this is engineering. This is how bridges get built, how planes land safely, how you find the nearest coffee shop. Time is not a fixed backdrop against which events occur. Time is part of the fabric of space-time itself, and that fabric bends. Have you ever looked at a clock on the wall and felt that certain hours passed slowly and others raced by? You thought that was psychology. You thought it was boredom or excitement playing tricks on your mind. But the universe agrees with you more than you know. Let me introduce you to a physicist named Julian Barbour. He has spent his life arguing something that sounds at first like the raving of a poet rather than the conclusion of a scientist. He argues that time does not exist. Not that it passes strangely, not that it is relative. He means it does not exist at all. His framework is called the block universe, or more precisely, in the language of physics, the eternalist view of space-time. Here is what it says. Imagine for a moment a novel. Every page of that novel exists simultaneously. Page 1 and page 300 exist at the same time. They are both there, printed, real, permanent. The characters in the novel experience a sequence of events. They feel time passing. They age, they grieve, they fall in love, they die. But from outside the novel, from the perspective of the reader holding the book, every moment exists at once. There is no flow. There is only the complete unchanging structure. Barbour and a growing number of physicists argue that the universe is like that novel. Every moment that has ever happened and every moment that will ever happen exists simultaneously in a four-dimensional structure called the block universe. Your birth and your death and this very second, all of them exist. All of them are real. None of them is more now than any other. What we experience as the passage of time is, in this view, an artifact of consciousness. A story our minds tell themselves as they trace a path through the block, like a reader's eye moving across a page. The page does not move, the eye. Think about the last time you looked at the night sky. When you look at a star, you are not seeing the star as it is now. You are seeing light that left that star years, centuries, sometimes millions of years ago. The star you see may no longer exist. It may have exploded, it may have collapsed into a black hole, but its light is still traveling through space, still arriving at your eye, still creating an experience of presence in your mind. The universe does not organize itself around your sense of now. There is a concept in physics called the relativity of simultaneity. It states that two events that appear simultaneous to one observer may appear to occur at different times to another observer moving at a different velocity. There is no universal now. There is no cosmic clock that everyone reads at the same moment. This is not interpretation. This is not philosophy. This is experimentally confirmed, mathematically precise, tested to 12 decimal places physics. Simultaneity is relative, which means now the thing you feel most certain about, the most immediate fact of your experience, is observer dependent. It is yours. It is not the universe. Have you ever noticed that when you are deeply absorbed in something you love, reading or music or a conversation that matters, time seems to disappear? You look up and hours have passed, but it did not feel like hours. It felt like a single breath. You always assumed that was distraction, that your brain was not tracking time properly. But what if your brain in those moments was tracking reality more accurate? What if the feeling of time dissolving is not an error but a glimpse? The neuroscientist David Eagleman has shown that our perception of time is actively constructed by the brain, is not a passive recording. The brain decides after the fact in many cases when things happen relative to each other. Time as you experience it is a model, a simulation, an interpretation of data that the brain renders into a coherent story, and like all models, it can be wrong. If time is not what we think it is, if the river does not flow, if the present is not privileged, if every moment is equally real and equally permanent, then what does that mean for us? It means something both terrifying and magnificent. It means you cannot lose the past. Every moment you have ever lived, every afternoon of childhood sunlight, every conversation with someone you loved, every instant of joy or grief or wonder is permanent. Not in memory, which fades and distorts, permanent in the structure of reality itself, fixed in the block, unchangeable, real. Carl Sagan once wrote that we are made of star stuff, that the nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, all of it forged in the cores of dying stars billions of years ago. We are the universe looking at itself. We are stardust that has organized itself into a form capable of asking, who am I? And if the block universe is true, there is something even more astonishing to add. You are not just made of star stuff. You are woven into the fabric of time itself. Your existence, every instant of it, is a permanent feature of the cosmos. Not because you will be remembered, not because you will leave a legacy, but because the physics of this universe guarantees that the four-dimensional structure of space-time contains you irreducibly, permanently. You happened. And in the deepest sense physics can offer, you will always have happened. Think about what we do with time. We hoard it, we mourn it, we feel it slipping through our fingers like sand, and we are afraid, always afraid, that there is not enough of it. We build our entire psychological architecture around the scarcity of time, around the terror of running out. But what if that terror is based on a misunderstanding? What if the question is not, how do I get more time, but how do I fully inhabit the moments that are already permanently part of the structure of reality? The Stoics understood something close to that. Marcus Aurelius wrote from the seat of the most powerful empire in the world that everything passes, and that the wise person does not grieve what passes, but attends fully to what is present. He did not have Einstein, he did not have quantum mechanics, but he intuited something that physics is now slowly confirming. The present moment is not fleeting. The present moment is everything. Because in the block universe, all moments are equally present. They are all equally permanent. Your future self, older, perhaps wiser, perhaps more tired, exists right now in the structure of space-time, just as real as you are in this moment. And your past self, younger, more uncertain, reaching for things you have since found or lost, is equally real, equally now. You are not moving through time. You are a shape in time, a four-dimensional object, a thing that extends through space and through the years, from birth to death, a single, continuous structure, as real and as permanent as a mountain. Now let's leave Earth entirely. Let's step back far enough to see what time looks like from the perspective of the cosmos itself. The universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. That number is almost impossible to hold in the mind, so let's try a different way. If the entire history of the universe were compressed into a single year, the cosmic calendar that Carl Sagan made famous, then every second of that year represents 438 years of actual time. The dinosaurs appear on December 25th. All of recorded human history, every empire, every war, every discovery, every work of art, occurs in the last 12 seconds of December 31st. You and I have been here for less time than it takes to blink. Now, consider this. The nearest star to our sun, Proxima Centauri, is 4.24 light years away. A light year is the distance light travels in 1 year, moving at 300,000 kilometers per second. If you could drive to Proxima Centauri at highway speed, it would take approximately 50 million years. There are galaxies we can observe that are so far away that the light reaching our telescopes left them before the Earth existed. We are looking at the past, always. Every observation we make of the universe is an observation of what was, not what is. And here is where it becomes staggering. If the block universe is correct, if all moments exist simultaneously, then somewhere in the structure of space-time, the light that is just now leaving a galaxy 10 billion light years away is already arriving at Earth. But the Earth that receives it does not exist yet, from our perspective. From the galaxy's perspective, it has already happened. The universe does not have a single now. It has an infinite number of nows, one for every possible observer at every possible velocity in every possible gravitational field. And none of them is more valid than any other. This is what Einstein meant when he wrote in a letter of condolence to the family of his lifelong friend Michel Besseau, who had just died. Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing. People like us who believe in physics know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Einstein wrote that. Not a poet, not a mystic. The man who gave us the equations that make our modern technological civilization possible. A stubbornly persistent illusion. Look up at the sky tonight, you can. Find a star, any star, and understand that you are not just looking across space, you are looking across time. You are seeing the past arriving at your eyes in the present, and the star you observe may be nothing more than a memory the universe is still delivering. The pale blue dot that photograph Voyager 1 took of Earth from 6 billion kilometers away at Carl Sagan's request showed our planet as a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Every human who ever lived, every king and every slave, every act of love and every act of cruelty, every moment of beauty and every moment of despair, all of it on that tiny point of light, and in the block universe, all of it still there, permanent, woven in. So here is where we have arrived. Time may not flow, the present may not be privileged. Every moment may be equally real, equally permanent, equally now from the right perspective. The universe does not have a clock.